Not even 1%. The value of 99 points shouldn't be limited to money. Don't you think that's a pity? Why does this phenomenon occur? Lust. Not knowing oneself. Inherently possesses boundless wisdom and limitless virtue. Not lust and amour. So lust. So deeply lost. So widely lost. It fits the compassion of seeing us. Raise the flag. Help us out, please. Help us recover. This requires practice. Hero, what a blessing. Hence, said all virtues. The ways to express emotions are also limitless. Among the countless methods, like the method of transformation, there are also inconvenient methods. Buddha. Thus, the Buddha speaks of countless paths for sentient beings. It's the so-called infinite paths of vows to practice in the monastery. Why does the Buddha speak of countless paths? Because the natures of sentient beings are not the same. The natures of sentient beings are also limitless and boundless. Following the nature of sentient beings, to teach, learning, simpler to succeed. If one does not align with the growth of sentient beings, their practice will feel difficult. And among all the teachings, the first aspect, first page, steady. The first is the easiest, which is the practice of chanting the Buddha's name. This is where the experience is. It is about teaching us to chant the Buddha's name. With sincerity, we gain recognition. You see, this is what is mentioned in the Infinite Life Sutra. To generate the body-mind and to concentrate solely on chanting. In principle, it's one matter. If we cannot accept this teaching, if you doubt this path, then the Buddha is providing you with a set of convenient methods. This is truly the first path in Buddhism. Why is this path set as the first? If we carefully observe the fundamental teachings that the Buddha shares with us in the scriptures, by understanding the principles, we can come to a clear understanding. We can feel it. So I'm telling you, all phenomena, everything beyond the worldly realm. Only the mind manifests. This phrase is the fundamental principle of all things and laws in the universe. I've lost control. Right. It clearly tells us that all phenomena arise from the mind's thoughts. This idea that all phenomena arise from the mind is explained as actual practice. The mind can manifest phenomena. When changes occur within, it represents a new function. This newness is the true mind. What we refer to as thoughts. Once we understand this principle, when the Buddha says to chant his name, we get it. We just nod. Why? Because chanting the Buddha makes you a Buddha. Are you saying it straightforwardly? Why chant for Arhat? Well, if you chant for Arhat, then for Bodhisattva, you'll become a Bodhisattva. Finally, if you chant for Buddha, you'll become a Buddha. Isn't that a bit long-winded? Why not just go straight to chanting for Buddha? Within Buddhism, the world-honored one tells us in the scriptures that Amitabha Buddha is the hope among all Buddhas. He stands out among all the Buddhas. Chanting Amitabha Buddha makes you Amitabha Buddha. Right. Chanting Amitabha Buddha means you become Amitabha Buddha. Why bother chanting other Buddhas? Compared to Amitabha Buddha, the others are just not on the same level. Why not just chant the complete and perfect Amitabha Buddha directly? Through these principles, we definitely affirm that chanting Amitabha Buddha is the top priority. I've truly understood it. Every thought in my heart is of Amitabha Buddha. Now that's a true practitioner of chanting the Buddha's name. What about the practice of chanting the Buddha's name? This path has its shared precepts. Right? All precepts are completely binding. It's easier not to break the precepts. Maintaining the meditative discipline is a significant achievement. The precepts of meditation are not as strict as the precepts of the path. The precepts of the path are not as complete as the pure and perfect precepts found within the practice of chanting the Buddha's name. To be of one heart and wish with Amitabha Buddha, sharing the same virtues and walking the same path. This is what true completeness is all about. So within this practice, Buddhism leads to the realization of the mind. Recitation. Recitation is like reading aloud to the great ministers. In reciting Mahayana scriptures. Thus, the Infinite Life Sutra is the foremost. We have analyzed this during our explanation, and this analysis poses no difficulties. The representative from the water meaning hall, the ancient virtuous one, spoke to us. Righteous cutting of gold. In the end, it all returns to why. The Huoyang refers to the Infinite Life Sutra. The Infinite Life Sutra relates to the 48 vows. The 48 vows return to the 18 practices. So now some people advocate for the original vow of chanting the Buddha's name. This institute particularly emphasizes page 18. Can chanting the Buddha's name according to the 18 practices be completed in 18 years? If followed, it will surely lead to victory. It's just an advocacy. Chanting at the moment of death, even a single thought can lead to rebirth. Normally, one can do without strict precepts. One can act recklessly and create karma, yet still chant the Buddha's name at the end of life and attain rebirth. That's not wrong. Do you have confidence in chanting the Buddha's name at the moment of death? Pay close attention to some people at the end of their lives. Can the mind remain clear? If one is muddled at the time of death, even if others chant for them, they won't be able to take it in. At the time of death, karmic obstacles come to the forefront. One can't take in the Buddha's name. In fact, hearing it can even be bothersome. Parents have personally seen such people. They chant the Buddha's name their whole life, but at the moment of death, they don't chant, clinging to life and fearing death. They can't let go. In theory, our institute has no issues, but when it comes to practice, it's tough, really tough. What is it like? Good roots and blessings. We need to be clear about this. The ancients, their compassion is truly boundless. They've analyzed it very clearly and thoroughly for us. We must not have a mindset of luck. We need to be down to earth. Study diligently and earnestly. Only then can we have assurance at the end of life. Those who rely on luck will definitely end up empty-handed in the end. It's about promoting the abandonment of certain life practices. This is a risky path we're walking. These arguments seem to make sense on the surface. The Buddha says this in the scriptures. If you analyze it closely, it makes no sense. They've completely misunderstood and distorted the Buddha's meaning. So wishing to grasp the true meaning of the Tathagata is no easy task. World-honored one was alive in the day. The Infinite Life Sutra has definitely been preached multiple times. Each time it's preached, this Dharma door, the audience is different, you see. As recorded in the sutras, there are always many followers, apart from the long following group. Generally, the attendees are different. So, the Buddha's introduction to the respectful teachings and the Western Pure Land varies in detail. So later on, the scriptures were compiled. The content of these scriptures, you see. After 10 years, the book has grown big. Like the most obvious example, we can now look at these 5 translations. The 48 armies, for instance. In some scriptures, there are 24 languages. In some scriptures, there are 48 pages, while in the travel scriptures, there are 36 pages. This is the most obvious. If it's a translation done by someone who has spoken about the Buddha, it doesn't matter who the translator is. This number must be the same. It's impossible to have such a big difference. For example, this place proves that the Buddha spoke multiple times. Then we need to talk about the Western Pure Land. Understand clearly. The language must fully convey what the Buddha introduced multiple times. Everything must be understood. This in ancient times. The Buddhist scriptures are all handwritten copies. The circulation is very limited. One person. In this lifetime, being able to see all 5 original translations is a great blessing and a significant cause. Scholar Wenlong from the Song dynasty. This person has many blessings. Of course, it also requires the blessing of Buddha's power. Among the 5 versions, only 4 are seen. The Great Treasure, Chicken Sutra translated during the Tang dynasty. Scholar Wen Longshu has not seen it. So within the Great Treasure of Silence, there is the wisdom of infinite life. In this part, there are some. It's very important. The other 4 versions don't have it. Scholar Wayne Longshu is truly remarkable. It's quite rare for an ordinary person to have the opportunity to see so many texts. So he started compiling accounting records. This meeting essentially culminates in a great achievement. The Buddha is in various forms. What is said in the core? They can all come together. Seeing this one text is like seeing all the various versions, which is a wonderful thing. Such great compassion and mercy. His writings are collected in the Tripitaka. Once it's recorded, it means that our Buddhist community has long acknowledged and affirmed that this practice is correct. No mistakes. The Book of Glory. Past, future generations. Ambassador Li Yankai. The Amitabha Sutra, as referenced in the Infinite Life Sutra. Most of this scripture is based on what Wang Rong said in the script. So this has been affirmed by Master Li Yankai. Later, there is the teaching text by Peng Jiking, the membership text by Wei Washing, the Wang version and the Wei version. There are indeed flaws. This flaw is exorcism. No. Or it's just not quite right. Words that can be interpreted. they made revisions. For them, this correction is definitely better than the cloud translation. The phrases used are even better. Master Yin Guang does not approve. There's a reason for the disapproval. The worry is that later people might casually alter the scriptures. Their beginnings set this example, leading later generations to casually alter the scriptures. If this classic is passed down like that, it would be completely unrecognizable. We definitely cannot set this example. India's opposition is based on 2 points. One is improper selection, and the other is alteration. It's unfair. It's not that one can't be urgent. So, in the early years of the Republic, the version by Xie Lianju came out. This version is truly a complete one. But there are some clinging to preconceived notions, opposing this version. So opposing this version means advocating for reading 5 different translations. If you oppose this version and promote one of the 5 original translations, you still won't have access to the important scriptures in the other 4 versions. The purpose of reading Song Daichen is to break the reliance on personal belief. It's about building confidence. This is all about the bias and the skewed values. Qin Jian. Being narrow-minded and ignorant, these attachments. It's a mistake. It's also said that Elder Xia is a lay practitioner. There is no qualification to gather golden accounts. Rongshu is lay follower. Heng Jiaqing is a lay practitioner. It's also a lay practitioner. Master Lianqi is a monk and a patriarch among the followers. Master Lianqi can adopt Wang Longshu's texts. Delay. The master did not say that Wang Longshu, as a lay practitioner, is unqualified. He did not say that. HMPH. If it said that lay people cannot do this, and only monks must do it, then the Dharma loses its equality. In other words, it's absolutely impossible to be reborn in the Pure Land. The Pure Land is a principle of equality. You see, if your mind is not pure and equal, even if you chant 100,000 mantras a day, you still cannot be reborn. A calm mind creates a pure land. A balanced heart makes the homeland peaceful. The Western Pure Land is a realm of purity and equality. Pay attention, you must understand this principle. Elder Xia is not an ordinary person. His accounting book, after it came out. It's a pity that Master Yingguang has already completed it. The owner has never seen this. I believe that Master Yin would definitely admire and approve of this book. Why? Because he has corrected the flaws of the past membership records. This book has not changed a single word from the original text. And it is apt for exorcising evil. At that time, Elder Huayman would definitely agree. The great monk from the contemporary Incizhu would definitely take its essence. It was spoken in Jinan. The great virtue at home. That line of poetry doesn't matter. It was spoken using his notes at the central broadcasting station. This book is circulating all over the world today. It aligns with the old prophecy of the end of life. He told his students that his accounting book would one day be brought from overseas to China. This promise has been fulfilled. At that time, everyone doubted, but now it has indeed turned out to be true. He also said, this scripture will spread all over the world. So this accounting book was published. Is it in line with what he prophesied? Completely corresponds. So we must have firm confidence. Decide without doubt. Follow the teachings. Read and recite often. Right, we take seriously what the Buddha teaches us in the scriptures. We strive to do it. What the Buddha teaches us not to do, we are determined to abide by. By chanting the Buddha's name and making vows for rebirth, we can achieve success in this life. We must believe in the Buddha's words. The accounting book of the layperson below contains the original text from the 5 different translations, word for word. You can take out the 5 translations to compare and review. If you have any doubts, you can compare the 5 different translations. I have printed them in the past. The title of this book is a reader for the 5 sutras of Pure Land. Inside this, the 5 different translations and these 4 teaching texts. The Infinite Life Sutra has a total of 9 versions printed inside. Everyone can compare them. There's one version of the Sutra of the Lost Path. 3 different texts. This one is by Master Wush, another by Master Zhuangzang, and the last is by Elder Shia's membership edition. They are all printed together. The purpose of printing this book is simply to strengthen the students' confidence. They must not be easily swayed by others. If we ruin the major opportunities in this life, it would be such a pity. So we must understand the importance of reciting the scriptures. Take refuge in the Infinite Life Sutra. With respect, Amitabha Buddha. Understood. It's serious. It's a form of offering. We have provided a detailed report to everyone during the discussion. How do we make offerings? Offerings to the Tathagata. Offerings to all beings. Confucian practice of offering. This is true. offering. That kind